All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we've got the Area 51 Cup Series here at Bristol. Drivers putting down their qualifying laps as we speak. And so after the two races, obviously, say right now, top 10 points are our two winners of the season. You got right now Larry Yingling leading Kevin DeBrown by 1 point between the two of them. Ryan Kelly, though, in that third position. Chad Wilkes in fourth. Travis Turdmeyer rounding out our top five. All right, Dale. So we know all about Bristol. This one is a handful for drivers here. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what these drivers are going to be able to do. Inside the qualifying, actually going to be pretty important here tonight, I feel like, Dale, because it's going to be kind of tell you if you're going to have that front stretch pit or you may get stuck on that back stretch pit depending on where you wind up here in qualifying this evening. So qualifying could play a pretty critical role here tonight.
No, you're absolutely right. And Bristol's unique in that, really, it's not just a straight pit road like everywhere else. It's really going to play a big role. And as you say that, watching the 93 of Kevin Brown, tag the wall, so he's not going to get a great pit selection.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I say right now, trying to do the count of the drivers that we have in the server. I want to say it's around 28 drivers. Right now, so far, just 19, I should say, have taken a lap time. So based on that, all the people that have put a lap should definitely be safe to be in there in that front pit road. The backstretch pit, though, like I mentioned, say if you mess up your qualifying lap or choose not to make a lap, so you'll be in that second pit road, and it's a dual pit road here. So pit stops under caution. If you're on that backstretch pit, you are likely going to lose some spots here. So just one of those things we're going to have to try to keep an eye on as this race unfolds. However, it looks like pretty much everybody's go ahead and made their laps. So say the one car you see still making a couple laps here is that 89 of Matt Quick. I think just trying to get a couple of extra laps in to kind of get a feel for everything, be ready for the race here. Maybe get a couple extra laps, just see what the car is going to do on that longer run, because as we are well aware, it's going to be a difficult one this evening. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see, though. With that, it looks like qualifying has just completed. So let's go ahead and pull up our starting grid. And on pole position, we talked about him being third in points, right there in the mix, and that is that 13 of Ryan Kelly. He gets the pole position this evening, and right next to him, and also one of our definitely championship competitors, that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, and then of course Larry Yingling there in the third position, Brandon Pasalacqua fourth, Andrew Pleshy fifth, Josh Schofner in sixth, Kevin Fries in seventh, and Chad Wilkes in eighth. 9th through 16th, you've got Matt Quick, Michael Spell, Todd Merkel, Robbie Richards, Roy Grandy, Skylar Brown, Jim Brooks, and Eric Schaus. And then 17th through 24th, you got Kevin DeBrown, James Lee, Nicholas Winook, Gabe Butler, James Ledford, Mark Brown, Dude Conrad, and Kyle Hess. Some of these guys are going to be right on the edge of that front stretch versus backstretch pit stops. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. And the remainder of the grid here, you've got Charles Johnson, Eric Lurie, Dwight Plesh, and Paul Patterson. All right, so you see our front row for tonight's event, that 13 of Ryan Kelly. You saw him last week in the Miami Vice paint scheme. He's back to his normal paint scheme there in that 13 car. And of course, a little bit biased, but it's a really cool paint scheme that Andrew Plesh was able to put together there for Maxwell Caldwell in that 94 machine. It's got the Green White Checker TV Area 51 sponsorship on the hood and the side of that car. So really fun to see, and really appreciative of these guys helping kind of support the series with the league, and then of course our TV channel here as well.
Having a look, it looks like the 68 of Mark Brown is going to have the last front stretch pit box.
All right, and that's the 22nd position car, so that means the 23rd, Dude Conrad, Kyle Hess, Charles Johnson, Eric Lurie, Paul Patterson, they would all be starting from the backstretch pits. So those are going to be, like we talked about, that's going to be a bit of a disadvantage for them under these most likely, of course, caution flag pit stops. The one thing to mention, Dale, is the pit stops here. It is not going to be just the one long pit stop. They actually did the two pit stalls. So what you're going to see on that is these drivers are going to basically, if you're on the front stretch, you're going to want to be entering the pits off of turn number 3, or entering turn number 3 and 4, I should say. backstretch pits, you're going to be wanting to hit 1 and 2. So I say, yeah, make sure that they're. It's really hard to make sure you get into the right pit stall here, or pit road, I should say, as we've seen even the Cup guys sometimes get that wrong pit stop, or pit road, I should say, the wrong one under green flag conditions.
Yeah, easy to do. It's a small track, it's a fast track, so it's real easy to get disoriented.
Yeah, and speaking of the fast track, I say it's just 14. Let's say our fastest lap here, 14.693. So less than 15 seconds around the track, and actually it looks like the top 12 drivers all went sub 15 seconds on their qualifying lap. And we got our first strategy call of the race here, Dale, or possibly strategy call, or may have just been an honest mistake. Chad Wilkes in that 17 car starting in the 8th position. He's going to actually start from the pits. However, that iRacing pace car just about to duck off here in our turn number 4. That's going to hand it over to that 13 of Ryan Kelly, Maxwell Caldwell. So the green flag is out, and you can see Maxwell gets a great start there. I think Ryan Kelly maybe got a little bit of tire spin. That's going to really give that 94 car a nice little advantage here just to start off.
Yeah, he's real happy to see that. He's out front now. Didn't really have to do a whole lot of work to get there.
And so that's going to be where that question comes into play, as well as where do you want to be on track? I say usually we see at Bristol lately with the new configuration changes, you really want to be running up by that wall. So we'll see if that's going to be the case, or if we're going to see some grooves move around a little bit. But yeah, I say right now though, you can see most of the lead pack here all running up against that outside wall.
Yeah, and that's kind of sketchy too, because it's real easy to get a little too high up there and tag the wall, and it's a flip of the coin on how bad it's going to tear the car up.
Yeah, you really don't know if you're going to get hooked up against it or what. And so I think we're seeing these guys give a little bit of extra space to start things off to that outside wall. But you can see his top two have really kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field right now. Larry's in that 3rd spot, got pretty decent pressure from behind him of Brandon Pasalacqua there. Then you say jump just a little back further, say to that 82 of Andrew Pleshy. This is where you have really the first big group of cars here. You've got that 50 of Josh Schofner. You see Andrew try to duck to the inside, can't get the power down though. Then you got Kevin Freeze right behind him, Michael Spell, Matt Quick, Robbie Richard. You see it's about a 10-car train almost, looks like, right behind that 50.
Yeah, when you're coming off trying to make that pass mid corner, as you see the 12 doing now, when you're coming off, it can get very, very loose there on that bottom line.
Yeah, you have to be extremely careful there. You see, so you can see it kind of stack things up a little bit. They're able to recover, but I say that's going to be that risk versus reward call that you see here. As you can see, we mentioned that 93 of, you're mentioning Kevin DeBrown, say not having the qualifying lap he was looking for, so he's trying to see if he can kind of hustle his way through the field here early on in this race. And right now, he and Skylar Brown definitely the moving, or the hard chargers moving forward right now. Kevin up now into the 11th spot, but Skylar Brown, we mentioned him in the 10 car. He went from 14th to 9th, so say +5 for him. So good opening couple laps here.
Yeah, they just got to be careful early on. Not abusing the tires too much. The fall off here is real. They only have 3 sets in the pit, and they're going to use all 3 sets. I guarantee it. Yeah,
you're exactly right. And so that's going to really come into play, as well as that strategy call of when you do pit, or if you pit, do you take tires? Do you just take fuel? There's going to be a lot of questions involved in that one. And so you can see there was a little bit of a stack up a few laps ago that we mentioned. You see Matt Quick, that number 89 car. You can see that rear end is a little bit center punch there. But it looks like he's going to be able to kind of, I said at Bristol, I said it's not going to really hurt him, but just one of those things I'm sure you wish you weren't in that situation though. Oh, you see right there, Michael Spell actually kind of moved up to the top there, really kind of pinched Matt Quick up into the wall. You see Matt reacted, as they say, that Kevin DeBrown almost gets into the back of the 88 of Michael Spell as well. So say right now, let's say these guys having a little bit of trouble trying to find their way around that 88 machine.
Yeah, just it's tough to pass there, and you see it. I mean, we know Kevin Brown's got a lot of skill, obviously quick hands, you just say about race car. Matt Quick's another one, just a ton of skill. You see him up front. This is a tough place to race.
Yeah, it really is. As they're jumping back up front a little bit here, Ryan Kelly starting to close the gap a little bit on Maxwell Caldwell, about a 1/10 of a second quicker that last time by. And you can actually see they're starting to run very different grooves here right now. You see Ryan Kelly pretty much committed to that very inside line. Maxwell kind of running more in the middle to the top here. So and actually, as I said, that there goes Ryan back to the top here. So these guys are starting to search a little bit, Dale, trying to see if maybe the grooves are going to kind of change a little bit as this run progresses.
Yeah, and it's going to be about where the driver's comfortable. Some guys just don't feel comfortable up there scraping the wall. Um, I don't, me personally, I don't feel comfortable on the bottom like I talked about earlier. Just to me, it feels like it gets so loose off here. I would rather be up on the wall where the car's a little tighter.
Yes, and that's really what you have to do is figure out what's going to work best for you. So, say right now we're on lap number 17. Right, I say these laps tick off quickly. Again, going to jump back over to Skylar Brown, though. He's up into that 7th position now in that number 10 machine, working over that number 50 of Josh Schofner. This is a battle for that 6th position. So, again, right now, Skylar from 14th to 7th here on these opening laps, doing a really good job in that 10 machine.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. And if you watch him as he's working traffic, he's real calculated on when and how he's getting around everybody. On the long run, I mean, it's just going to help him so much.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As long as he's not burning up his stuff here, say he's in a really good position here. And you can see what he's doing there, Dale, is he's kind of running the outside line, but then he tries to cut it down and get that nice apex on the exit right off the exit of 4. Saying that's really the best way you can get a good exit there without kind of compromising yourself, keeping yourself pinched to the inside. So I think he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing here.
I was looking at Larry Yingling. Haven't really said a whole lot about him yet, but just kind of watching his lap times, he's about a 10th faster than everybody that's around him.
Well, I'll say actually, you look, I'll say these leaders are in a gaggle right now. You see Maxwell Caldwell trying to work his way around some of this lap traffic here. You see everybody's trying to give him room. I see a lot of respect being given here. Drivers obviously not having the run they wanted to start things off here. As you see, Jim Brooks catches the outside wall and say that's going to, Maxwell had to slow up a little bit to not get into the back of him. But these are the things that you're going to have to fight with here at Bristol. So say now Maxwell kind of committed to having to use that inside line to try to get around that 76. And I say that's just how Bristol is. I say once you catch that the traffic, it's really going to slow your pace down.
Yeah, and that's allowed, lap traffic allowed both Larry Yingling and Ryan Kelly to get to the back of Max Caldwell as they're all pretty much stacked up nose to tail.
Yeah, so right now it's pretty much a 3-car battle right here up front. Say Brandon Pasolaco is still in 4th, a little further back in the 21 car. But like I said, he's got a ways to go kind of to get back up into this group of cars. Looks like he's got about 3 to 4 lap cars in between himself and the lead pack right now. But yeah, I said that's definitely, you can see just there's so many of them that's in that little group of that little bit of time there. That's what really slowed Maxwell up, but he did a good job getting through there. You see Andrew Pleshy, I think he just had a little moment as well, trying to work his way through some traffic as well. So definitely not easy by any means for these drivers right now.
Absolutely, that lap traffic battle will last all night long. They won't be able to get away from it. Just the nature of this track. We talked about the size and the speed. You're always going to be in lap traffic here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was like, it's actually, I looked a little further back there, a little bit of a moment there. Oh, yeah, you see a 33, Nicholas Winook. He goes around. So far, we stay green. I think he's able to spin off track, and we somehow do stay green, which is rare to see at Bristol. So he's going to grab a gear, get things going again. It's just a little bit of a 3-wide battle there. So just everybody trying to get what they can here. So yeah, things really kicking off really quickly. And unfortunately, that's going to put him right at the edge of going 2 down as here comes that 94 car again.
Yeah, well, that was going on the 10 of Skylar Brown had a little moment. He was able to keep it straight, but lost just a ton of track position.
Yeah, so right now that strategy of Chad Wilkes starting from the pits not panning out very well for him. Obviously, he has plenty of pace because he's been able to move himself forward from starting in that pits, but you can see with all the track position he's lost as we're going to go almost 4 wide there for a second. We're going to get back down to 2, it looks like, but he is definitely under attack now from that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. As I think probably Chad was expecting a pretty quick caution at the beginning of this race, and so I'd say that has not come into fruition for him as of this point. So now he's just about a half a straightaway from being lapped. So we'll jump back and look at Skylar Brown. Yeah, you're right. So he's now in this group a little bit further back than where he was, now back into the 11th position. So like you said, so it doesn't take much, and you lose so much track position. As you can see, Kevin DeBrown, he's trying to recover from his little bobble he had earlier, trying to work over that 12 of Robbie Richards. You got Matt Quick. Matt's been able to work himself back up a little bit now as well into that 8th position. So say some of those super speedway regulars we talked about, the 89 Matt Quick, 25 Kevin Freeze, right now running in 7th and 8th respectively.
Something I've noticed too is I've seen a few guys using the old chrome horn here, and I have not seen that in an Area 51 race yet, really, but I've seen it a couple times tonight.
Yeah, I was making a little bit of a joke, kind of in our group Discord a little earlier about how there was definitely not going to be any tempers flaring or anything like that tonight. I was saying that's just, I mean, that's Bristol. I was saying there's always the Denny Hamlin joke about that's just short track racing, and it's just a whole different animal. And yeah, you're gonna have tempers are gonna flare a little bit. I think feathers are gonna get ruffled, and that's just how these races go. As you see Maxwell Caldwell trying to find his way around some of this traffic, but again, these guys are all trying to stay in front of one another to, as I said, that Chad Wilkes into the back of the 18 car. Also catches Maxwell Caldwell a little bit of damage. Ryan Kelly gets caught up in this one. Just wrong place, wrong time there, and I think that was exactly what you were just talking about, Dale, the chrome horn situation. I think those guys just felt like they were getting held up more than they wanted to be and needed to be, so they kind of had to take matters into their own hand there, it looked like.
Yeah, and that's, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you want to get a guy out of your way as quick as possible, because everything's going to happen very quick here at the same time. Everything happens so quick here, so with that, people get caught up, that don't necessarily have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So you can see here coming out of turn number 4, yeah, the 17 gets into the back of the 18. Say him and the one were having a pretty hard fight there. And then you see right behind him, though, you see Larry sliding, Maxwell sliding. I think Maxwell does get a little bit of damage here on their left rear. You see just a little bit of contact there. Actually, car count bounces a little bit there. Then, unfortunately, the 13 of Ryan Kelly, he just kind of gets sandwiched in there. Not a big hit for the 13 of Ryan Kelly, so I think he might get away with this pretty well. Unfortunately, just going to cost him some track position from that situation. And I think I saw a little further up, I saw another car trying to get back up to speed there. Trying to catch which driver it was. I think it was Paul Patterson in a 26 machine. Yeah, he's around as well. I'd say may have been unrelated. Let's go back and take a look here. So actually, I think we had 2 incidents. Yeah, you see, actually the 8 of Dude Conrad, he gets a couple shots from the 50 and the 48. So let's go see what happened to him here. I know we're under caution. It actually looks like a little bit of contact between him and the 82 of Andrew Palesci here going into turn number 1 here actually. And same thing, I think the 8 just goes low to try to get around the 54, and then 82 gets in the back of him, and then unfortunately the 50 and the 48 and the 26 just nowhere for the 3 of them to go. However, Dale, the biggest surprise I have right now, top 3 drivers did not pit there. Not sure if that's by choice or may have been a mistake there, where maybe the pits weren't able to get into the pits when they had initially opened and they didn't want to risk losing all that track position. But with all that craziness that's gone on here, I'm showing only 12 cars now on the lead lap here.
Yeah, 12 cars being scored in the lead lap. Everybody came in and took tires and fuel that time except for those top 3. So they're really going to be under attack, starting with Brandon Paslock in that 4th position. Everybody from him back is on fresh rubber.
Yeah, so right now, if you're that 21 car, you're probably licking your chops here saying, all right, this is my opportunity. I can make something happen. And say, against some of those other guys, we mentioned the 93 of Kevin DeBrown, the 20 of the 1 of Gabe Butler, 17th to 7th, 20th to 8th here. So these guys definitely have some opportunities here. So we'll have to see what this restart's going to bring, though. So like I said, we're going to be on a little bit of mixed strategy on these tires. You see Maxwell goes early there. I think that's definitely the right call for him to do. So now we'll see how this restart goes for the rest of the field here.
Yeah, Maxwell Caldwell and Larry Yangling's going to be side by side, still coming through 3 and 4, which is a real tough position to be in. But you see that 21 and 93 we talked about being on fresh tires. They're charging to the front.
Yeah, that 50 of Josh Schofner as well. He's going to be in that mix. You see the 21 able to clear the 13. Looks like 93 going to follow him through here. So you can see tires are definitely playing a big role here. There are, like you said, Dale, there are limited sets of tires. So I feel like you're about a third of the distance through the race. That was probably about the right time to make that first pit stop. Saying that right now, if you are that 21 and the 93, you're definitely liking this. But what you're wanting here is you're going to want another long green flag run here to kind of keep the field spread out like it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon Paslock and Kevin Brown now take the lead, and they're going to Kevin Brown's going to work on Brandon. They just charged around the top 3 like they weren't even there.
Yeah, so that's just the difference those tires are making. Also, got to definitely mention again Kevin Freeze, our Super Speedway Series champion. He's now up into that third position as Kevin is putting some big pressure on that 21 car here in a turn number 3. Actually, he's going to grab the spot, so move that 93 to the front here.
And if you remember at the end of the race last week in a post race, I asked Kevin how he thought he was going to do the next two races, and he was very excited about coming to Bristol, and I feel he kind of called his shot a little bit.
He's backing it up so far, so really good, let's say, able to get to the front now. So right now, top 3 snuck away just a little bit. Josh Schofner, he's been able to clear that group as well. And actually, as they say, that caution is back out here. And it looks like it's towards the back half of the field. Oh, big stack up there. You see a lot of cars here slowed up. It looks like the 54, James Lee, I think he's got the worst of. You can see the whole hood's missing, the rear deck lid's missing there. So say caution back out here and a big hit for him. So let's go ahead and see what happened there. But I think this might be the opportunity for those guys that stayed out that last time. I think they have to come in and pit this time around.
Yeah, I agree. They saw they might have made a bad strategy call, and they're definitely going to come in and fix that.
So it looks like this wreck actually happened a little bit ahead of, you see the 4, he catches, or 54, sorry, he catches the wall on the backstretch, and you see that he pretty much spends the rest of the time trying to catch that car back, and then unfortunately starts stacking up the field in front of him. You see he loops it around there. Big hits for Eric Schaus, the 8 car of Dude Conrad. So a handful of cars having some pretty big hits there on that caution. So a lot of these guys hitting the pits again. Looks like the 9, Charles Johnson, he's going to get his lap back in that number 9 machine. So now the question is, did those guys... Yeah, looks like I do see Maxwell in the pits. In that number 94 car, also the 67 Larry Yingling, the 13 of Ryan Kelly. So they went ahead and did make that pit strategy call. But problem here, Dale, is that was only about I would say, not even quite 10 lap run. So they're going to restart. Looks like right around the outside of the top 10. So they're still going to have their work cut out for them to get that track position back.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of cars to work through to get back up there. It's recoverable. I mean, like I said, I think they might have made a little bit of a bad strategy call, but starting back there is recoverable.
Yeah, definitely do have the opportunity to still try to get back up there. Unfortunately, it looks like Bristol has bitten a lot of drivers here early. Looks like Jim Brooks, he's retired early already. Looks like about 20 laps ago he went ahead and retired. Paul Patterson, Nicholas Winnock, and I think on that last incident, unfortunately, that's got Dude Conrad in the 8 to retire as well. So we've got 4 retirements from the race, still 13 on the lead lap. And so somehow they mentioned Chad Wilkes starting from the pits. He's still on the lead lap in that 17 machine. So he's doing what he needs to do. So he was able to kind of make the best of a bad situation with that long green flag run at the beginning. So we'll see if he's able to hold up in that lead pack here as well. And then it looks like Maxwell's going to restart in the 8th position in that 94 car. So not too bad, I would say, actually, for kind of pitting that second time around here. But again, he's just going to have to be patient, work his way through some of this traffic. And say some of these guys may not have quite the pace that he does. As unfortunately, I see a couple of modifieds at the moment out in front of him. First of those being the 82 of Andrew Plesh. You can see the front clip was missing from his machine, as was the 68 of Mark Brown.
Yeah, a lot of cars got damage. The good thing here is not very aero dependent, so you can get away with maybe not having a bumper, not having a deck lid, and still be somewhat competitive.
Yeah, so actually sometimes a little bit of motor damage actually goes a long ways. Helps prevent some tire spin on the exit of some of these turns. So some of these guys might actually be a little bit happier with that little bit lack of horsepower. Because again, with this low downforce, high horsepower package here at Bristol, definitely makes it a handful for these cars to get around this track here. Alright, so we're going to hop on the look out the back of our race leader, Kevin DeBrown. Again, this restart's up to him when he wants to go. You can see he drops the gear and goes. He's able to get a nice little margin there right off the bat. So that's the perk of being the leader on these restarts, is that you can kind of control them and give yourself a little bit of margin to work with right off the bat.
A great restart by the 21 of Brandon Passalacqua, but Josh Hoffner in that 50 car is really making a run at him.
I always see one spinning off to the inside. I think that was the 68 of Mark Brown back under yellow. They just cleared by us. They almost looked like James Ledford was going to catch him a little bit. So another quick yellow here after that. But say it looks like as a whole, pretty much a single car spin here, so not as bad as it could have been by any means. I say that car already pretty roughed up here, so let's take a look though. So you see he's on the inside of the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. We talked about how that inside line is definitely a tricky place to be. And yeah, you can see just start stepping at him on the exit, just maybe a little too aggressive on the throttle, plus being pinched on the inside line. Say, unfortunately, nothing he can do at that point. He's just kind of along for the ride. And just a little bit of a shot to the inside line, but this is where drivers get nervous when you're kind of all bunched together here, Dale, and you see someone spin out there. You can see Mark did a great job locking those brakes down, though. And then here's James Ledford just squeaking by there. Great heads up by him to avoid that one. So with that all said and done, just a single car incident there, which is a very rare occurrence here at Bristol.
Yeah, and another thing is Bristol's kind of like Dover in that it's so narrow, and if you lose the car, you're going to hit something, be it a wall, another car. I mean, most of the time it's going to be a wall, but you're going to definitely run into something.
Yeah, if you spin out here at Bristol and don't hit anything, you might as well buy a lottery ticket on your way out, because that is very, very infrequent to have happen. So, looks like caution and benefit for Robbie Richards. He's going to get back on the lead lap, so that's going to bump us up to 14 cars back onto the lead lap. As you can see, nobody's going to take any pit stop strategy here at this point. Looks like Robbie Richards, well as he was, again, he just got that wave around. So, I think that's the right call for him. He can go ahead and get maybe a little bit more fuel possibly in that car. Not sure what his tire strategy is at this point, but he'll definitely have kind of the options he can choose from, or even maybe a little bit of damage repair in that 12 car if he has any. So a lot of choices, but it looks like a little bit of splash of fuel based on the 4.4 second stop there. And I'll say, looks like we have a three in a row Indy winner here in our chat, so hope you're doing well, Mr. Teed. So Brandon having a good showing here right now, definitely on the right strategy at this point in the race. Got a couple of laps led that last time around, say that 93 got around him, but definitely would not count out that 21 the rest of the way. Saying he's got some Miller Lite company there right behind him as well, Dale. So you got the kind of the old school versus more new school in the paint schemes on those two cars.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is the beer sponsorships are kind of popular here at Area 51.
Well, as I know in the Sunday series, they went ahead and they said we got that team battle, of course, going on that Super Speedway series. And so I said we do have the Kings of Beer, or King of Beers, I should say, sponsorship, or team sponsorship, I should say. So got a lot of the beer sponsorship on those guys. But so I think these ones have been kind of a little bit new. So we've seen Brandon running the Miller Lite car pretty much from day one. Kevin Freeze, his is a little bit of a change. I believe he had that nice red and gold Folgers machine. So he's kind of put that away. Maybe a Rusty Wallace paint scheme here for that. Maybe get a little bit of that Bristol magic. I'm trying to say that's a Rusty or if that's a Kurt Busch when he ran the Miller Lite car, but either way, so there's actually a lot of good Bristol drivers with that Miller Lite paint scheme, so got plenty to choose from. However, pace car's back off, and you see Kevin waiting a little longer that next time, but you see big tire spin. Brandon had to lift not to get into the back of him. Good heads up by Brandon. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, Dale's tire spin on these restarts, because obviously he almost caught that 93 out as we got trouble behind. Big hit there for the one of Gabe Butler, and again, looks like somehow just a solo incident. We're going to be back under caution, though. However, that one took a big shot off of the backstretch, so not sure if he had any help there or if that just snapped on him.
I think it might have been a combination of both, looking at it.
Yeah, pulling up here, we'll take a look. You can see he's inside of the 94, and you got the 13 to 67 there. Oh, yeah, looks like he started getting a little tight there, and yeah, I think he got the 13 of Ryan Kelly got into the back of him just a little bit. And as you know, it does not take anything here for that to happen, to get into the back of one another. And when you're going as fast as you are in such close quarters, any little bit of a lift of a throttle, it's never going to end very well. So, but again, somehow just the one car that goes around here. So he's going to be able to grab a gear and get going again. So we'll say, unfortunately, got one more modified on the list here. But if he has a fast repair as I said, the motor pops there on the one machine. He's going to have to try to see if he can get it limped back to the pits. Unfortunately, though, for Gabe, I'm trying to see, he started in the 20th spot. He's going to probably have to take a tow here. I don't think that thing's going to coast the rest of the way.
Yeah, just bad timing, for that to happen. He's doing about 15 mile an hour around the track trying to get it back in there. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it without towing or not.
Yeah, so maybe he can pick up one of his friends that maybe not having quite the night they're looking for. I'll say actually of those, I'm looking at the potentials to say I'd say to see if he's in the pits or not, because if he's going through pit stalls, yeah, he probably can't coast far enough. But so I was thinking about maybe like an Eric Laurie. Unfortunately, Eric, he got caught in some incident early too. He's about 6 down, so you get one of those guys like, hey, come in here and just give me a push real quick and say and get you up there. But looks like right now that one car is just going to try to coast it around. I'll say right now he's down to about 13 miles an hour, so he still stands. He's going to lose a lap, obviously, but he still stands a chance of getting to that pit stall. So, and saying based on him doing this, I'm going to say he still has that fast repair in the bag as well.
Yeah, and I mean we know the skill that Gabe has. Like it's not out of the question for him to get himself back on the lead lap and then be up here challenging for the lead.
Yeah, so he just needs to try to, ideally, if he can get in there and not use that second one. But I'll say he's slowly dropping speed, say down to about 7-8 miles an hour here. I'll say the plus side, though, he did qualify 20th, so he's going to have one of the first pit stalls on entry. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, unfortunately, it looks like he is going to get trapped 2 down. But I do see that one pit board here not too far away, so I think he'll be able to get back out here and at least just go 2 down. So say you never say never, because again, I mean, there are more cars 1 lap down ahead of him, but if they get caught in the incident, he would get that lucky dog. So I wanted to keep an eye and see if he made it to his pit stall, but we just got the one to go. He's just so close right now. Hopefully he makes it into that pit stall though. But yeah, so say we're gonna get another restart attempt here. Again, so now that 93 Kevin DeBrown, he knows about that tire spin. He's going to have to adjust here, Dale. What's the best approach to you? Is that just being easier on the throttle? Maybe do you try restarting, let's say, if you're in second gear, do you go to third gear here, or what do you think?
If it's me doing it, I just go a little easier on the throttle and try to feel. He jumps way early there, and that seemed to be what he did. I mean, I don't like the third gear restarts personally.
Yes, and actually restarting early is actually a really good decision because it keeps your car in the banking, really keeps the power underneath you. So yeah, so it looks like that was the decision call for that number 93, and it's definitely worked out well. As you can see, he's been able to jump out to about a half a second lead right off the bat. Right now, first side-by-side battles, the 82 Andrew Plush. He doesn't look like he just doesn't quite have that pace with that front clip missing from the car. I think he also may have got pinned on the insides because when you see he's jumped to the top, he's actually got some pretty good pace with them once he gets the momentum built up into that 82 car. So I'm guessing what we're going to see here from Andrew, he's just going to try to save that fast repair till it's really time to go. But right now we see Kevin Freeze putting all sorts of pressure on that 50 of Josh Schofner.
Skylar Brown in the 10.
We got contact. The 25 went around. He's going to get turned back quickly there. But I think, again, a little bit of a stack up there, and it's just going to, unfortunately, get a couple cars involved. So let's go back and see. Unfortunately, that's going to bring the yellow again. So apologies for cutting over you there, Dale. But yeah, so we're actually watching it as it happened there with the 25. So I'll pull it back up here on the replay. Oh, you see the 50 just caught the outside wall, cost him momentum. That slowed up to 25, then unfortunately Maxwell Caldwell, just wrong place, wrong time. He gets into the back of the 25 car. You see Larry England gets a little bit of a piece. Also, actually the 13 Ryan Kelly as well. So all 3 of those initial leaders at the beginning get a little bit of damage from that. I don't think it's going to hurt him too much there, Dale, but so that's just one of the risks of kind of being a little further back. And again, just exactly shows what Bristol is, where just the littlest of momentum losses, and it's just going to stack everybody up just so quickly on one another.
Yeah, and Larry and Ryan Kelly, they really didn't have anywhere to go on that. You're coming off the corner so fast, and even though they can see the wreck happening and are trying to react, there's really not much that can be done.
So you were just mentioning Skylar Brown. Looks like he just got the lucky dog, so he's back on the lead lap now. So it's so I caution a good break for him in that number 10 machine. Right now we've got 4 cars still, 1 down, including Matt Quick, Roy Grandy, Kyle Hess, and Eric Schaus. And then James Lee in that 54 right in front of that 10 is 2 down. And unfortunately, with that, unfortunate for that number 1, Gabe Butler winds up falling back to 5 down after just having to try to coast it around the pits there.
Yeah, I did watch that race to his pit box too, and sadly he didn't make it. He made it about perfect into that last pit stall, Mark Brown, but didn't quite have enough to get all the way home.
So after all that patience, had to wind up taking a tow anyway. So it should have at least made it a shorter tow. So it doesn't. Honestly, I don't think it helps much for a situation like that. But yeah, again, he was able to get the fast repair. Is back out on track. But yeah, like you said, unfortunately 5 down, and so gonna need some help to get back up into the thick of things here.
All that being said, we're halfway through.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Say halfway through the race. Say 75 down, 76 to go, 75 here at the line. So say just crossed the halfway point in this one. So I say fuel-wise, I feel like even though some of these guys, I heard the fuel windows right around the 100 lap mark, but I have a feeling with all these caution laps that we've had recently, I feel pretty confident that most of these guys can make it to the end from here. So I think now the question is just going to be, when is the right call to make that tire change? Does anybody risk maybe pitting here a little earlier than others? Let's say we get maybe a 10-15 lap run. Is that the time to make that tire stop, or do you want to try to get or hope for and just kind of plan on another stop, like a 30 lap run like we saw at the beginning?
Yeah, it's tough. That's definitely a tough call. Kevin Brown goes off the banking again. He kind of stacked them up there on the bottom line a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I hear trouble in the back. I think we got trouble at the front stretch, and yep, caution is back out. It looks like he said, it sounds like it may have been a bit of an accordion effect, and yeah, a lot of cars caught up in this one. You see the 18, the 89, the 81, the 071, the 54. So actually a lot of drivers that we just were talking about being eligible for that lucky dog position, a lot of them being caught up in that one. So this could be someone that we weren't thinking about to be in this one. So let's take a look and see how this all happened. So I think it may have been right around the 81 of Todd Merkel. We'll take a look. We're watching him. Yeah, you see the car just doesn't go there. He broke loose inside, so he broke his tires loose. Unfortunately, right into the path of that 18 or 89. I'm sorry, of Matt Quick, and then from there, just a little bit of a stack up. And it looks like most of, like I said, a lot of these guys got caught up in that one. You see the 86, the 18, the 89, the 54, the 071. A lot of those guys were a lap or more down. So, question is going to be which of those drivers maybe weren't involved in that one. Because I say that could throw it off, and it looks like it's going to be the 72 Eric Schaus. He was able to kind of be out of the incident, didn't get caught up in that one, so he's going to be the beneficiary of this one, Dale. That's going to put us back to 16 cars on the lead lap, and now just 3 cars 1 lap down.
And kind of want to talk about, like, they don't have a whole lot of green flag laps on these tires, but there's some things you have to consider here. This is the high horsepower package like we talked about, and B, this is a different track surface, a concrete track surface, so it wears the tires a little bit different.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So there are a lot of potentials for tire wear, and really it's all dependent on how you drive this car too. I mean, if you're really aggressive on the entry and you're sliding the car in the turn, you're going to be burning that right front up. And if you're greedy on that gas pedal, you're going to be burning that right rear up. So there's a lot of potential for having these little mistakes here and there that'll hurt those tires, and especially if, I mean, on these restarts, I mean, they're probably having to light them up a little bit, just being in that lower gear, be it second or third gear. So I mean, that could be also burning up those rear tires just that little bit extra.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right at that.
So I say this is the point where you wonder if some drivers, do they maybe take a gamble here and try something different? Like I said, go off strategy. Again, I feel like you said, though, I mean, there's been so few green flag laps since that first caution. It's hard to like, you don't want to burn that set of tires up, because like, unfortunately you can't put them back on as scuffs later on. So once that set's gone, it's gone. So Right now, everybody's used, I believe, at least just one set of the 3 that were in the pits, so they should have 2 still to play with. And with 70 to go, so I'm sure they want to be careful about when to use those up. So my 4-legged crew chief gave me his thoughts on the matter as well. So not sure what his official decision was on that one, but I'm thinking it was probably also like these guys all are right now doing, and probably that they need to stay out.
So Kevin used 2 different restart strategies, still about in the same restart zone, but it kind of checked up the bottom line. And I don't say that he hit the brakes or that he changed his speed any. It's just the people behind him expected him to go a little sooner than he did. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do right here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like going early is definitely his best option, just because it doesn't snap the rear tires loose on him. So, and sure enough, again, as soon as that pace car is off the racing surface, he's down and away. And so you can see Brandon's able to react quickly there, as Larry Yingling trying to see if he can make something happen and get around that 50 machine. But right now, Larry's going to have his hands full with that 94 Maxwell Caldwell through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and they're 2x2 fighting for second, third position. Brandon's done great on these restarts. Every single restart so far this race is really impressive.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job. That's what I want to say. And I think he's one of the few that's been able to keep that car clean as well, which is hard to do here at Bristol. As you can see, Maxwell tried to see if he can sneak up to the top of the 50. He wasn't there, so he's going to try to cross him over, gets to the inside. But there's that big push he talked about. And you can see how much momentum it cost Maxwell. And actually, Maxwell tried to squeeze up just in front of Larry there. And I'll say then Larry got checked up a little bit. So that's just how quick these momentum shifts happen.
Yeah, Kevin Brown stretched his lead out to about one second, it looks like, and is the fastest car to track currently. But he's not having to contend with anybody. You know, Brandon was racing guys. You got Larry back there racing. Josh Schaffner, Matt Caldwell, all these guys are racing for position. Kevin's out here to do what he wants.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we just saw a big moment. I don't know how Maxwell saved that car. Got into the left side of the 50 a little bit there. That sent him down the track, but he was able to chase it and get it caught back up there. So able to hang onto the car, I should say. Loses a couple of track position, but still at least the car still in one piece there. As let's say you see Larry Yingling, he's trying to make this inside line work, and you see just closes the door there right on the exit of that 50 off of turn number 4 there. Say Larry Yingling he knew he had to make that move happen. Here he's 17 and Chadwell does the exact same thing, and then again Maxwell Caldwell unfortunately gets held up a little bit there, and then he almost got into the back of the 50 when the 50 was having to check up for that 17 car.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner at 50 is not going to be real happy after those 2 moves. I wouldn't be surprised for him to let him know about his displeasure.
Yeah, so that's what we talked about with Bristol. Say there's going to be some heated moments for these drivers. You feel like you're kind of like, I know I'm faster than them, but I'm on the worst line, so there's nothing I can do kind of a situation. And that's what we're seeing, I think, a lot of right now, where these guys probably feel like, hey, we were up front earlier, cut us some slack, as they say. That Maxwell, again, also he does a slide job. Oh, we got trouble in the back just behind him. Kevin Freeze, I think he got hooked in that left rear. We're going to have a caution back out. You see him lock it down here. And it looks like, as I say, the big hit from the one of Gabe Butler. I think Gabe thought he was going to stay where he was. He went low, and then unfortunately, the 25 took a heavy shot to the left rear quarter panel. Let's take a look back here. So say that was right behind that group we were just talking about. You see Kevin here stuck behind. Oh, he catches the outside wall just a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah. So he cut the outside wall, and that kind of got him all out of sorts there. And I think the 82 of Andrew Pleshy may have got into him afterwards. Just you lose all that momentum, and then you see Charles Johnson. He gets kind of just loose and has to slide down to the bottom there as well. But then unfortunately, say from there though, you see he had it locked down here. He was pretty nicely in the. So the problem is right here is he's just stuck in the middle of the track. Oh, and I'm not showing it. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back. Rookie mistake. All right, so you see 25 catches the wall there. He tries to catch it, and then at that point, I say there's just nothing he can do. Andrew Pleshy tries to stay off of him, but just same thing for him. He gets a little bit of help from behind from Skylar Brown as well. And then from there, you can see some of the other cars that get caught up in there. You see Charles Johnson. So I think Charles is going to get away with it for the most part. It's like kind of just a big slide for him. You see Michael Spell also doing some pretty good slide action there in the 88 car, trying to avoid this one. But what happens here later, though, Dale, is you see everybody slides around. You see Matt Quick, he jumps to the top, so that's where Kevin Freeze decides to go down. And then, unfortunately, the one of Gabe Butler was kind of committed to trying to get to that bottom, and that was exactly where that 25 was working his way back down. So just unfortunate to say and the thing is, I mean, we see this at Bristol. Oh, actually, as I said, it looks like the 90 actually had a bit of a contact from that as well. I just noticed down, Dale. Or sorry, the 93, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I have to go back.
Yeah, let's say they were trying to catch up to the pace car, and say Kevin had a pretty big head of steam there, and then yeah, just unfortunately got into the back of him. So, watching the 82 of Andrew Pileshi, I don't think he's going to beat the pace car out here. He's going to get trapped a lap down, I believe. In the 82 car, I think he was trying to get some damage repairs done to that number 82 machine, and yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to get trapped here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But surprisingly, though, for me, Dale, is there were not very many takers on. I actually thought this would be about the right time to make that pit stop and try to maybe see if this will be the set of tires that take you to the end. But looks like nobody. The only two that pitted there were Robbie Richards and Michael Spell of our lead lap cars.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Kevin Brown's tires. You know, he came in there, he got a little piece of I didn't see whose car it was, but got a little piece of the car and the wall, but he slid the front tires pretty good on that. So I'm kind of worried about how they're going to fare.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to hope that clean air and having control of these restarts are going to be kind of what he needs to help his chances here. Because we're going to restart here just outside of 50 to go, restart with 53 to go. And I'm trying to just see who got the waiver in there. I think it was the 18 of Roy Grandy. I think Roy's now back on the lead lap in the 18 machine. So and with Andrew Pileshi, unfortunately, he's now back to a lap down as well, as Charles Johnson's trying to get caught back up to the field. All right, pace car's about to jump off here, though. Again, we suspect Kevin's going to go a little early. Oh, he waits longer this time, Dale. I think he saw the people trying to anticipate it.
Yeah, Larry was prepared, though, as Brandon passed Lackman at 21, was not able to get away, and Larry Yingling makes his way around. Is going to set his sights on Kevin Brown in first place. Yeah,
so right now Kevin's going to be has some cars with a little bit fresher tires. I think Larry also might have a little bit of damage to that 67 machine. I see a little bit on the rear of that car, but so he's going to have slightly fresher tires, so we'll see if that comes into play at all in this one or not. As I say, we're going to cross here. We're going to start lap number 100 right now. Next time by is going to be 50 to go. So right now, Kevin holding a pretty steady lead here for the moment, about just that couple tenths of a second, but definitely has not been able to stink away like he did before.
Now, Kevin, Larry, and Brandon Paslak are pretty much running, identical lap times here.
Yeah, you see also got to mention about that 17 Chad Wilkes. He's right now up into this mix as well. Maxwell Caldwell, he's been able to get through as well here. So we've got kind of, as we kind of joke around, some of our usual suspects up front here. But again, wanted to mention again that 10 of Skylar Brown, though. We say he had some troubles, fell back. He's back up into the mix here. He's right there with Ryan Kelly right behind the 50 as well, Josh Schofner. So if he can play his cards right, he might be right up into this mix here shortly as well.
Yeah, I've been watching Skylar throughout the race. He's doing very well at working through traffic, and that's what's going to make it here.
Yeah, so right now holding in that 8th position. You can see they'll try to get underneath the 13 Ryan Kelly. That's going to cost momentum, though. It's going to open that door for the 12 of Robbie Richards. You see, and that's the risk there, is you try to make that pass happen, you lose some of that momentum, and these guys are not going to give you the opportunity to slide back up there. They're going to try to capitalize on it. So we got to jump back to the lead, though, because Larry Yingling is putting all sorts of pressure on our leader here.
Yeah, last lap I thought he was going to get a nose under Kevin. Wasn't quite able to do it, but he's still there, and he'll keep working on it. Just being that close, having somebody that close to you here is enough to, throw you off your game a little bit, slip you up, make a mistake, and then, Larry will get around him no problem, if that's the case.
Yeah, this is where Kevin's going to definitely not be giving up that outside line, so he's going to have to make Larry get to the inside, or Larry's going to have to try to pretty much run the wall here. But and you do see that 67 car, as we look from the back of the 93 car, a little bit of left front damage to Larry Yingling, a little bit on the hood on the right side as well. So, like I said, both these cars definitely have a little bit of damage that they're dealing with, but at Bristol you can usually get away with it.
Yeah, at this point, other than I think the 21, I don't know that there's a clean car in the field, but I don't believe that Brandon Paslak has had any damage yet.
Yeah, so hopefully no commentators curse for him. He's been doing a really good job here tonight. So again, running solidly in third. And so again, right now in the tire situation, Larry's got about 10 lap fresher tires than Kevin DeBrown. Again, not a lot of green flag lap difference between these guys right now, but as you can see, Larry sends it there into turn number 3, trying to see if he can get around that 93 car, but you know that 93 is not going to make it easy here.
Yeah, it's just so tough to get the drive off as they're coming up on the one car, Gabe Butler too. That's going to throw a little wrench in this.
So we'll switch now. We'll hop on board with that 67. You can see Ducks to the inside. He's going to try to use that lap car as a pick. Can't quite do it there. He's going to have to fall back in line there. But again, he's got to be careful because he gets too aggressive here. He's going to lose that position possibly or get pinned to the inside like we saw a little earlier. So right now, Larry, you can see he's trying to get to the top side and make that big cut to the bottom, which is very similar to what Kevin's doing here. So these guys both driving for pretty much everything they're worth here.
Yeah, but these two, racing for the first spot as well. Brandon passed Lachlan in 21 and the 17 to Chad Wilkes to catch up. So now we're top 4 under a blanket.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You see, Brandon's now having to try to hold off the 17 to Chad Wilkes. And while they do that, what this is going to do is it's probably going to let the leaders spread away just a little bit again. But it's also probably going to bring in that 94 Maxwell Caldwell side. I don't think we've seen the last of him tonight either. As I said, you can see he's able to close that gap just a little bit. So right now we've got pretty much a top 5 breakaway by about 2.5 seconds over Josh Schofner there in 6th position. Say Skylar Brown's still trying to work him over in that 10 machine.
Yeah, and looking at the lap times, you mentioned Josh Schofner, Maxwell Caldwell. They're up there as the fastest 2 cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think pace is definitely slowing down from tires and everything, but I think also just from how tight they are with each other. You can't run what you might want to run normally where you feel more comfortable. I think everybody's running just that little bit extra where it may not be faster, but you're just doing what you can to try to kind of take that person's groove away from you.
Yeah, and you watch the leaders here, when Kevin Brown comes off, he's exiting a little lower than he had been. Just kind of watching what Larry Yingling had been doing, and he's just, doing exactly what you said, trying to block that run.
Yeah, so that's allowed. You see Maxwell Caldwell, he's joined in the party there back in that in the 5th spot in that 94 machine. So he's actually kind of got the best view of this to say he's just far enough away where he can kind of react. So you see he's actually running the middle low groove, and you can see how much time he's gaining doing that right there. Loses a little bit on exit, and I think you saw right there, Chad Wilkes saw him do that, saw how well it worked, so he's like, I'm going to give this a shot as well. But you can see the same thing though, just can't get the power down to make the pass happen. And now it's going to open the door for Maxwell to try to give it a shot there for that 4th spot.
Yeah, and he keeps dropping down that low line and just trying to get an edge on Chad Wilkes, and it's real tough to do. He's going to have to be next to Chad coming up.
Don't look now, though. Look in the background here. 6th position, Robbie Richards. He's running about 5/6 tenths of a second faster than these leaders. And as soon as I say that caution comes out, looks like it might be the 13 of Ryan Kelly. Yeah, it looks like Ryan went around there. It looks like he's going to get things going, get it righted again, get back going. Also see, I think that's Mark Brown in the 68 with some pretty... No, it's not Mark Brown. Who was that car that had some damage there? Oh, it was the one of Gabe Butler. He gets caught up in it as well. All right, let's go back and take a look. I think now the leaders are going to have to pit here, Dale. But man, if I'm Robbie Richards, he was hoping that was going to stay green because he was on a roll right there.
Yeah, I was watching his lap times, like you say. He was running in the 3s where everybody else was in the 7s and 8s. So he was substantially faster than literally everybody else on the racetrack.
Trying to see what happened to the one here. Okay, so actually it happened up in front of him. Okay, so it was a 13 of Ryan. Okay, and that's where the contact happened. So I thought I saw 13, but I wasn't sure. Oh, actually, looks like it's with him and Skylar Brown here, fighting hard for right outside that top 5 here. So, Skylar Brown catches the outside wall and unfortunately just bounces him into the left rear of Ryan Kelly. Nothing Ryan could do there, but it's going to send him around. And I think we just saw exactly what we thought might happen there, Dale. That 12 of Robbie Richards, he stays out while the rest of the leaders pit here. So we're going to have a big shakeup in our running order. It looks like it's going to be Robbie Richards, Michael Spell, Charles Johnson going to be the top 3. And it looks like Kevin Brown won the race off of pit road. He's going to restart in the 4th position. I'm trying to take a look at these cars if there were some faster pairs that were taken. Because I say we're getting right down to it here. We're going to probably restart with just about 25 to go.
Yeah, I don't think this is a bad call for the top 3 staying out. I mean, they got 30 lap older tires. I don't necessarily know how many are green flag laps, but I mean, Robbie Richards was so fast on that run.
No, I think if you're I actually really like if you're that 12 car. I think this is a great strategy call for you. I'm completely on board with it because we've seen a little bit of both. We saw this was a pretty decent long green flag run there. The beginning of the race had a long green flag run, but then the middle, I mean, there was a lot of cautions there. So if that happens again, that's going to open the door for him to not have to kind of fight as hard right off the bat. And he's got some guys that he's familiar with right there with him. You see the 88 of Michael Speller. And actually, as I said, I'm trying to see where Charles Johnson disappeared to. So he's dropping to the back now, which I'm not sure why. So I thought I showed him in the third position. So this actually might be a big break for that 93 machine and the 67, as now they're going to restart here third and fourth, which actually I think that's going to be an advantage to Larry, honestly, because that's going to put Larry now in the second row instead of that third row.
Yeah, moves him up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened with Charles. I'm not sure if he got a penalty for something. I don't know how he would have, though, because he didn't pit. So I'm not real clear on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So that's unfortunate because let's say Charles is on the exact same strategy that Michael and Robbie are on. So now, and actually, again, I think right now, actually, if you're Kevin in the 93 car, you like where you are here. Obviously, you want to be leading, but you're gonna be right behind the leaders, so it's a little easier to restart behind somebody than being side by side with them, like the 88 of Michael Spell. So, for Michael, for Robbie, they got to be careful about the tire spin here. But like I said, this is a really good opportunity, I feel like, for these guys to make that strategy call here, and I really like what I saw there. All right, pace car is in. There goes that 12 car. He's going to get, oh, you see right off the bat there, you see the 88 gets loose. Yeah, I can't get the throttle down. Unfortunately, we're going to have another caution here. I think I saw Todd Merkel get caught up, and then I see that 89 of Matt Quick. He spun around on the exit as well. And that was a concern I had, was the tire spin. And unfortunately, that's exactly what just happened there. And so it looks like it bit our front row driver there.
Yeah, and you can really see the tire spin if you compare the speed of the 88 off the line with the 67 as Larry Yingling dives to the bottom and really has a close call because the 88 got into that right front fender a little bit as he went around.
Oh, yeah, actually, Larry gets a big break there. Like you said, a little bit of net code, if you will. Unfortunately, though, Todd Merkel not so lucky. I was actually just about to mention Todd Merkel was restarting right up there as well in this, I believe, the 8th position. And I think Matt Quick, unfortunately, 89 may have got some help on that checkup, and he caught the inside wall there. So yeah, definitely unfortunate handful of drivers getting caught up in that one tonight, or in that most recent caution. So trying to see, I think this might bring, it looks like it's going to bring Eric Schaus back onto the lead lap in that 72 car, which is going to give us now 16 cars on the lead lap. And that's going to be everybody who's one lap down. So that's going to now switch it over to James Lee, who's 2 down in that 54 car. So he's been sitting at that 2 down spot for a long time this evening. And I say, if I'm not mistaken, I think he found a hood on the track somewhere because, oh, nope, I lied. There's no hood on the track. It's still missing. So that car is missing the hood, missing the whole rear deck lid, rear spoiler. But he is still pounding out laps here.
So Robbie Richards, again, going to start. He's going to lead this thing off. Kevin Brown's going to move into the outside front row position. I think, like we said, Kevin Brown had the advantage last restart. It's going to go to Larry Yingling this restart for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult for the 93. His goal now is going to have to be to try to time this restart as best as he possibly can. Or at the very least, try to keep the 67 behind him and have to try to use those fresh tires to find a way to get around that 12 car. So like you said, it's about maybe 20-25 laps fresher on the 93 than the 12. But again, I mean, with these quick cautions, I mean, it's just going to help the tire temperatures drop a little bit. As actually the lights are still on, so we're going to be restarting here within 20 to go. So I think 19 to go is going to be this restart here. So it's going to be all to play for here. Should be pretty interesting to see how this one's all going to shake out. Say a little bit of different strategies around the field right now. So we've got our our Indy and Super Speedway driver Matt Wagner accusing us of making some commentators' curses here this evening, Dale. And actually, looking at the 93 car, I do not think he took a fast repair. I think he actually does have that little bit of damage here. So we'll have to see if that. I don't think it's going to come into play. I mean, again, we talked about Bristol. It's not going to hurt these tires too bad, or I should say hurt the overall speed too bad. Right now, it's going to be all about this restart, though. They got to get through these gears as quickly as possible without spinning the tires. And so that's going to be, I think, what that 93 is going to have to be able to do to try to have a chance here.
Yeah, and he's going to have to watch what Robbie Richards does. Robbie Richards is in a hornet's nest, though. I mean, he's 37 laps on his tires. Everybody around him's got 10 laps on there, so he's really got to be careful.
Yeah, he's going to have to go for all he's worth. He's going to try to get the restarts, I should say, probably of his life. As you can see, he gets a pretty good start there, and saying that's exactly what the 67 of Larry Ingley wanted to see. But now Kevin's going to just have to fight for all he's worth on that top side. Try to keep the momentum up. Squeezes there. We're going 3 wide there for the lead. You see Kevin and Larry wasting no time. They do not want to get side by side with each other. Kevin's going to find his way back to the front there.
Look at Robbie driving it back to the bottom and still fighting Larry for that position.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no quit in Robbie. And that's what I love about him is he's always going to be going after it. The problem now is, like you said, Dale, he's got the older tires. He's now pinned to the inside line. But what you did see there was he gave room. He didn't force the 93 up into the wall. Unfortunately, he saw that Kevin got to his outside line, so he was kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place there. But right now settles in for the moment in that 5th position. So now it's going to be up to that 67 here to try to chase down our race leader in that 93. And saying he's got a new friend behind him with that 94. Maxwell Caldwell was able to sneak around Brandon Paslock on that restart.
Yeah, if I'm Kevin Brown, I want to see 2 things. I want to see the rest of this race go green, and I want to see the 94 get inside of the 67 and just work on him.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like even cautions, you feel probably pretty good if you're that 93 car, because as long as you don't spin the tires, you're going to feel pretty good about that. So it's going to be interesting to see. I say right now these 3 are all pretty much right on top of each other, 2nd through 4th here. Say Kevin just got about a half a second lead here. Looking at the lap times, they're all definitely running all in the 14.7s right now, which is right on edge of their fastest laps of the race.
Yeah, Mac's not been able to really gain any ground on Larry. Brandon Paslock, however, is working on Max Caldwell back there in 4th position.
And I'm saying this is where, if you're Brandon, you can do it now. You have about a second and a half between yourself and that car behind you, so you can make some moves. You can try some things. And if it doesn't work, it's no big deal. You can regroup and go back after. You're not going to get pinned to that inside line. So right now, Brandon's really got the most leeway of anybody to try something different, really.
No, I agree with you. And, nobody's going to be mad about a 4th place finish at Bristol. But, 2nd or 3rd is a lot better.
Well, as we cross line there, 10 to go. This is going to be the battle of the race, though, because everybody's dying to interview with us. I mean, that's the highlight of all these guys' nights, I know, is to have the opportunity to chat with us. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But no, right now these guys putting on a really big fight here. I'm having a hard time jumping away from it, but I do want to watch Skylar Brown here. He is trying for all he is worth to try to get around that 12 of Robbie Richards. Again, Robbie on the older tires. You see Skylar kind of gets pinned behind him. That's opened the door now for the 13 Ryan Kelly. He's trying to recover after having an incident just that little bit earlier. And then again, that 17 Chad Wilkes trying to make up some ground from where he was as well. So we've got a lot of battling all throughout the field here. This one right here, just right now in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th positions.
Yeah, and Skylar's in a tough spot. He's surrounded. He has nowhere to go. He's got to drive, based off everybody else's line.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So he's having to do what he can here. So right now, you see the 13. I think he's just been able to get underneath the 10 there. He's almost able to clear the 10 there. You see Robbie has a bit of a moment. I think that's going to open the door, but we got to jump back up front here. Well, actually, you see the 10 has a moment. Actually, is he coming into the pits?
He blew up.
Oh, temperatures maybe got too hot on that car. Wow, that's heartbreaking there.
Yeah, a little puff of smoke. I wonder if, when he kind of, I won't say he got chopped, but, guys got in front of him a little close, and I think he got in the back of somebody in that, maybe the 17. I wonder if he didn't damage that grill area a little bit.
That's very possible. I mean, you hear the revs that these cars are putting on here at Bristol. I mean, these... Oh, actually, as I said, we have trouble in the back. That's going to bring the caution out, I believe. There it is. Caution is out here, Dale. We're going to be with 3 to go. Yellow is out. And it looked like it was Eric Schaus and the 9 of Charles Johnson that had trouble with each other. So we're going to have a green-white checkered finish here on green-white checkered TV, hence the name. That being said, we don't get to use it very often. So let's see what happened here between that 72 and the 9. So it looked like it was just hard battling for position there. So let's pull this back up here as we see the 72, you see the 9. I think, oh, it looks like, well, I think Charles may have just caught the ads. It's what we've seen a lot of times. Charles catches the outside wall and unfortunately just right into the path of Eric Schaus. Nothing Eric can do there. But more importantly, also right in front of our leaders here, you know they were all getting worried about these guys bouncing back up on track. Luckily, both drivers able to keep it down to the inside line. It looks like they're all 4 of them are going to get away with it there. So just a 2-car incident here. And so there are 3 attempts of a green-white checkered finish here at Area 51, Dale. So, I mean, obviously, if you're the leaders here, you're not pitting. There's no question. But if I'm some of these guys towards the back that maybe have a set of tires left in the bank, like Michael Spell, Matt Quick, Josh Schofner, you're going to be the last car in the lead lap anyway. Why not take tires here and just kind of go for all you're worth and see if you can use those fresh tires to kind of get to the inside of somebody and make a move and gain maybe a couple spots here?
I think if I'm about in Ryan Kelly's position or in that 5th position, I'm going to try it. You know, hopefully I can entice everybody behind me to come into pit, take the tires. But for me, that's where it starts. You know, right there at that 5th position.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Unfortunately, do have to mention, say Matt Wagner letting us know. Unfortunately, it looks like Todd Merkel got disconnected from the server, so unfortunately, he is not on track anymore. So he was having a really solid run as well. So he got caught up in one of those restart incidents, unfortunately, but he had been having a really good run going in that 81 machine. And unfortunately, that last incident looks like that was it for Charles Johnson in the 9 machine. He had to retire. And like you mentioned, I think the one that hurts the most for me right now is Skylar Brown in that 10 car. Had a really good run going, but unfortunately, just that motor. Apparently, the motor just got too hot there, and maybe the oil water temperatures got too high and popped. So he had to jump into the pits there, unfortunately, as well. So, and again, surprisingly though, Dale, nobody's going with my strategy here of pitting. So I must not be a very good crew chief.
Well, I don't. You know, the guys I race with, we kind of made it a rule a long time ago. We don't leave tires on the walls. So I would have came in, like I say, probably about that 5th position back. I'd have came in and got them.
Yeah, or even if you were where Robbie was in the 12 car, you know you've got about 15, 20 lap older tires under green than those guys. I mean, it's so hard to do because you're in the 6th position, you're doing well. And actually, I mean, that's another point too, Dale, is depending on if you're on the inside or outside line. I mean, to me, that's a decision as well. If you're pinned on the inside line, I'm taking tires. Maybe I get up to the top side and use those fresh tires. But these guys are all going to stick with what they got here, it looks like, as we are going to be in attempt number 1 of a green-white checkered finish. So you can see we're past the lap 150 mark. We're at 153 now. So what Kevin's going to be wanting to see most of anything here, Dale, is going to be that white flag, as long as he can keep that 67 in his mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be a challenge. I mean, pretty much everybody up there behind him has the potential to win this thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So you see Larry trying to time it just a little bit, get the timing right. There goes Kevin, though. He's going to get a little bit of a start there. Not a big jump, though. Larry was ready for it, but everybody's able to keep their tires in check there. No tire spin here. So Kevin's just going to try to hope for a couple more clean turns here and keep that 67 in his bay as they come through 3 and 4.
Yeah, so far so good. As Kevin's going to take the white flag.
Yeah, last lap here at Bristol. Only 1 attempt for tonight for the green-white checkered, so now it's going to be between the 93, the 67, and the 94 for the top 3 positions. They've been able to separate themselves from that 21, but at the line is going to be Kevin DeBrown holding off Larry Yingling and Maxwell Caldwell, getting the win tonight at Bristol. So he kind of called the shot we talked about last week, feeling like he was going to do well tonight, and he was able to do so, getting the win. And actually having to do so in pretty difficult fashion as well, Dale. Having to go from 17th qualifying position after that mistake to be able to get the win here tonight.
Yeah, I believe he is. I'm just checking before I speak, but I believe he is the biggest mover of the race.
Yeah, say one of the other big movers was that 68 of Mark Brown, 22nd tonight. So hats off to him as well. A really good run for him tonight. But yeah, say those are definitely the two highest climbers by far tonight this evening. And see, I think right now Kevin just trying to get himself probably get his breath back a little bit after having to kind of really go after it there at the end.
And you say that, and I was thinking about this when we started. When I started iRacing, like we raced short tracks. I mean, that's what you did. That was the path to racing the trucks and the B cars and the cup cars and all that. And like everybody on the service ran late models or modifieds. I mean, we all race short tracks. Now that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out here in iRacing. So as that 93 is going to burn it down, I think he's going to use that engine up as well here tonight. But I mean, just a hard fought race. I mean, I think to me that move of the race was that restart where he was able to squeeze himself between the wall and the 12 of Robbie Richards to grab that lead back. Because, like I said, otherwise he was going to have a hard time finding his way around that 67 of Larry Yingling.
Yeah, had Larry got the advantage there, I think these two positions would be flipped. I think they were both just good enough to keep the other one behind them.
Yeah, no, in complete agreement with you there. But with that, though, we're going to have to talk to our top three drivers. To say we're going to start with our 94 car of Maxwell Caldwell. Maxwell started in the second position, brings it home in third. Let's go to hunt that man down. Where is that Maxwell? There he is. All right, I said the whole time I was in the wrong channel anyway. But all right, Maxwell, I'm gonna pull you in here. So started in second, finished third tonight. Obviously kind of a race of strategies on when to make the pits, when to not make the pits. Do you feel like the difference in the race was that one caution where for you, Larry, and Ryan Kelly stayed out, where a lot of the others pitted there?
Absolutely, 100%. That's the only. I'm not taking away from anybody, but I think if you had the lead, you had complete control. There was hardly any way to pass on the bottom. You could try to make it work on a restart, but other than that, if they had the top out of two and you were side by side, it was game over. So 93 just had the strategy right. Pitted that first time, was able to pass all of us on old tires, and rest is history. So third place ain't bad for everything that happened, and the amount of times I feel like I got wrecked out of the lead or out of the front pack, which was kind of ridiculous to be the leader and getting wrecked by lap cars on that first one, but it's okay. Later in the race, I had so much damage on the front end from just people, wrecking in front of me that had some overheating issues. So that last little caution, or at least the one with 20 something to go, that was nice to be able to come and get a fast repair and get that 285 oil temp down. But all in all, third place ain't bad. I could have finished a whole lot worse tonight. So led 44 laps. That was pretty nice. Just, I don't know, when you're leading like that and you get took out of it by lap cars, and then other people get it off a pit strategy and you just know you can't pass, it's just kind of a bummer, but I'll take third.
Yeah, I mean, you were exactly right. I mean, you were definitely in kind of between a rock and a hard place a few times. Let's say there was a couple points where you, like you said, you kind of caught just, I mean, no way better put it, but just a gaggle of traffic in front of you. And I said, now obviously you had that. I think what caught a lot of drivers out by surprise was that first run going that 30, 40-ish laps under green. I think it caught a few out by surprise, just expecting that first caution probably within the first 10 laps or so. I think that may have also kind of set the tone a little bit on the aggression side of things, realizing, okay, hey, we got to really step it up to not let these guys get to us so quickly on these remaining green flag laps. But yeah, I mean, like I said, a really good run for you. Like I said, had to recover, and the oil temp. I mean, that's not something we had thought about at all. But unfortunately, we did actually see, I believe, one of the drivers in the 10 machine. Dale had mentioned he saw a little puff of smoke, and he had to hit the pits there. So. Something that I had not thought about was engine oil temperatures, water temperatures playing a role in this one.
Yeah, when you get that front end damage, it just smashes in on that radiator and you're not getting adequate airflow. So I don't even know what run it was, but it was like with, 50, 40 to go, when you had the top four guys up there pulling away from me and I was like backing off just a little bit, kind of running that bottom line. That was me trying to get air to my nose just to keep the temps down. I was running anywhere from 282 to 285 going in the corners, 282 coming out. As I ran that for a little bit, I kind of actually kept pace. That's when we pulled a big gap on sixth place, and during that run, and I'm shocked that I even stayed with the field. But I think the 93 was kind of holding that whole line of Larry and Chad and Brandon up. So yeah, with that old temp up, I couldn't really do a whole lot. I couldn't stay tucked up behind them, so I had to back it off a little bit. But I started reeling them back in a little bit when that caution came out. Then I was like, I've got to pit and get a fast repair. So I'm thankful that everybody pitted with me. And just then that one restart with two guys on no tires up front that we kind of figured was going to go very bad, very quick, kind of did. But luckily we scooted through that, and I was able to get a top 3 because of it. So yeah, I don't know. The main thing I look at is that very first run. I mean, I was saving my tires. I was actually pulling away from Larry just a little bit, I felt like, or at least matching pace with him. Traffic wasn't my nicest friend, but I mean, I was able to manage it, I think, okay. And really, right before that wreck, the first caution, I was just trying to ride. And I was trying to get down low, get around them. And the 18, I think, just stopped in the middle of the 17. At least that's what I was told. He just absolutely hit the brakes in the middle of the corner, and that shot Chad and them down into me. So gave me front end damage. It kind of slowed me down the rest of the time. I think it was like 31, 32 seconds of damage on the right front. So that kind of just set the mood for the whole race right there. I wish that first run would have went a little longer and people would have been a little bit more patient. And then maybe the first caution, I could have came and got tires and kind of had command of the rest of the race. But you win some, you lose some, and lap cars cost us this one. So I'm sure you'll hear the same thing from Larry there on his side too. Every wreck I got in, he kind of got into. We were trying to work together that whole race, and just I don't know. Some guys just stop in the middle of the corners and causes a big fuss. I don't think it was aggression on those lap cars. I really just think it was guys not knowing how to handle old tires and just completely stomping the brake to try to get the thing to stop. And you can't do that here at Bristol. It's too much momentum. You're going to cause a wreck doing that. And I think that's exactly what we saw on multiple occasions tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of boiled down Bristol to a T, where it doesn't matter where you are on track or anything like that. It's going to find you one way or the other, more often than not, I should say. So, I mean, again, like you said, not the night you're looking for. Obviously, you had more in plan for your result tonight, but still to be able to recover to get that top 3 finish. Still, I mean, a really good job on your part to kind of bounce back and stick with it, even with that damage that you had earlier on.
I think that just shows how fast the car we had tonight. I mean, we've been practicing all week long. Me and a few guys, we've opened it up to the whole league, but until tonight, a whole lot of them wouldn't even practice with us all week. So we were kind of hoping everybody would, so they could all get used to the track, going to a short track for the first time in a while. Come knock the rust off in some practice rooms. I think we threw up a 2-hour room on Sunday, a 2-hour room on Tuesday, and a 2-hour room right before the race today. And it wasn't until today that we had most of them show up. So I think with a bit more practice, a lot of these guys would have known what the tires could have done on a long run, and we could have had a 2-3 caution race maybe, and it would have been pretty neat with the tire strategies and everything and what people would have done and track position and all that. But that's just not what happened tonight. So I'm trying to be optimistic. I really am, and I'm not upset that I lost. I'm upset how I lost the lead. Just with a league that focuses its emphasis on respecting other drivers, especially the leader as a lapper, and causing that big a stink for the leader there. Wrecks happened with the leaders more than once tonight. It was more than just me. So we had quite a bit of issues there. So something probably we need to look at and evaluate. But I will make this comment. I loved coming to Bristol, and I normally don't like this track, but I think all in all, this was an entertaining race. Had to have been fun to watch from the booth. I enjoyed it. For me personally, I didn't enjoy my circumstances, if that makes sense. But other than that, I think we need to come back to short tracks again. I think they put on one heck of a show. And I believe our all-star race this season's even at a short track. I think it's North Wilkesboro. So it's exciting. I can't wait now to go there and see what we can do.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, these races usually do put on really good shows, and you're never going to find very many people that are going to be happy after short track races as well. So, but I mean, great job though tonight, Maxwell. If it makes you feel better, it'll be caution free next week at Watkins Glen. So it's going to definitely be a challenge as well, though. Besides, that should be pretty fun to see how everybody fares over there.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know with these cup cars what strategy you're supposed to run. I don't know when the pit stops need to be. Honestly, with the cup cars, I kind of been trying to whisper in one of the admin's ears about possibly doing admin cautions if we had like a pileup of 4 or 5 guys, where it doesn't just kill somebody's race at the very start. At least you got a chance to get your fast repair and kind of get back going. Because these things are so different than an Indy car. I mean, Indy cars, you can kind of recover from some stuff, and pit strategy is a whole lot different. But with these Cup cars, man, if you lose it in turn one, it's game over. I mean, you have nothing else to do but ride around the whole race. So I don't think it's going to happen. Well, maybe in the future with the Cup cars, we could at least do admin cautions, not iRacing cautions, obviously. But when it's bad enough, like 5, 6, 7 cars in something, throw one. And I think that'd be nice to see restarts at a road course. It'd be fun. But I guess the goal there is going to be survive turn one and hope you can keep it underneath you. We've done some practices there too over the past couple weeks, just here and there on some Sundays. And needless to say, that car is going to be a little loosey goosey, especially through the S's. So I hope everybody practices this week. I really do. It's going to be a tough race of attrition, especially if there's no cautions. All it's going to take is one guy getting loose in the S's to cause a massive 10, 15 car pileup on lap one. So looking forward to it, but I'm also very nervous about it. I'm probably going to focus on qualifying and trying to be up front and just avoid all that, because starting in the back ain't going to do me no good if I have to completely stop for a wreck. So I'm just going to try to start up front and see what I can do at a road course. It's one of the tougher things for me, but after practicing, I feel like I'm at least on pace with most of the guys I'm racing with. So it's refreshing, it's interesting, and just can't wait to see something new again. So loving the new tracks, loving the new schedule, loving the diversity of the schedule, and I think everybody at Green White Checker TV that's watching is going to enjoy it too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But again, I mean, great job tonight, though, Maxwell. So, like I said, able to work your way back up into that top 3 spot. So, look forward to catch you next week, and we'll see what you can make happen over there.
Sounds good. Thank you. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to my teammates here and just my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for letting me race tonight. Teammates have helped me a ton this week practicing here at Bristol. So shout out to Brandon, shout out to Ryan, Chad, and Larry and Andrew. So thank you to them guys. We all ran up front most of the race. So we had circumstances with a couple of them, but just exciting that practice paid off for the most part. So thank those guys, and thank you guys for the broadcast. It's an awesome show.
I appreciate it. Say, I look forward to catching you next week, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dale. So that is our 3rd place finisher, that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, and saying, yeah, just didn't have quite the run he was looking for. Was hoping for a little bit better. Just unfortunately, like he mentioned, say got caught up in a couple incidents of just that were out in front of him, and it's Bristol. It's hard to avoid those kinds of incidents, unfortunately, from time to time.
Yeah, and I don't agree with what Max was saying. I do believe that he had a car capable of winning this race, and I believe he had the skill to win this race. It's just very unfortunate,
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think, like you said, these guys who finished in that top 4, top 5, I think pretty much you put any of them in that lead position, I think they would have been able to find their way to victory lane. So I'll say with that, we got to pull up our 2nd place finisher. That's 67 of Larry Yingling. He does continue the podium streak. It is still alive. The car's a little worse for wear, but able to still find his way to the front when it mattered there. Did you feel like that restart there where you had a couple of those guys on the old tires, was that going to be your opportunity, especially the second one when you were in 3rd and then Kevin was up on the outside in 2nd? Was that kind of in your mind that was going to be the move to try to get that win tonight?
Oh, yeah. I knew if Robbie stayed high entering one, which it looked like he was, so I was ready to dive it in there. But when he came down, I just knew it's going to take a lot to get by Kevin in that situation. And we barely split him on the backstretch, and but Kevin got the lead from there. And luckily, my sponsor is Haas Brothers Performance, because I definitely need my car fixed after this race.
Yeah, we're taking a look. Yeah, I think they're going to need a left front fender for sure. Possibly maybe just the hood and everything too. But I mean, yeah, obviously it was a challenging for a lot of you guys tonight. Obviously the first run going green for as long as it did there. Do you feel like that maybe caught a few drivers maybe out a little bit on that one? Because I mean, we saw, for instance, Chad Wilkes started from the pits there. And I mean, it almost came back to haunt him because he was right at the edge of, I think he actually wound up getting trapped a lap down because of the incident. But when that caution did come out, I mean, he was right on the edge of getting a lap down himself there.
Yeah, he definitely got lucky with that caution. I think he had computer problems that forced him to miss the start. But they had that long green flag run, and ultimately we should have pitted. I think me and Maxwell were I forget the word, but we were after that wreck. We weren't really thinking, correctly on the strategy, I suppose, and but luckily it still worked out at the end for the most part.
Yeah, so you guys still found your way towards the front there at the end. And I was going to ask about, because I know Bristol, obviously things happen so quick where the caution comes out, you kind of got to, okay, catch a pace car and all that. By chance, was it just one of those situations where you everything was happening so quick you never really got the chance to really kind of figure out your game plan to make that pit stop or not? Or was it just you kind of were thinking that was going to be the right call at the time?
Both. We were definitely the first few cautions. I'm pretty sure Maxwell and I were involved in them. So half the time we were trying to figure out how much damage we got, and by the time we think if we should pit or not, we can't remember if we're on the back stretch or front stretch, or then we got only 2 sets of tires in the pits. So it was definitely difficult to figure it out.
Oh, and actually, that's a good point to make. I didn't realize it was actually just the 2 sets in the pits. I thought it was 3 there. So that definitely makes a lot more sense why you might be a little hesitant to pit under that first one. So yeah, that opens up a lot of understanding on my side, at least for sure. But obviously, the kind of the middle top group, that's where you wanted to be. Did you have any feel of like maybe trying to get that low line? Did it feel like it was working at all for you, or is it just all about that kind of that center off exit speed that was probably kind of the where you had to be to try to make those passes happen?
Yeah, it was definitely mostly center off exit speed. If you're trying to enter low, you better have the momentum on the guy on the outside, or you're not making that pass. I don't know if anyone else is doing it, but I was trying to diamond the corner, I guess, and come off low to get a straighter run off and get more speed. But once in a while it worked, but it didn't work at the end. All that damage, I was down on power a little bit and maybe a little bit too tight. Kicking myself for not using that fast repair. Even that I didn't even think about. I sat in the pits and looked at him like, but luckily it still got second.
Yeah, this is like I said, still keep the streak alive. So say obviously come through pretty well. Say obviously a car a little not unscathed by any means, but able to come through still with that second spot. So now say that's going to be the next new challenge for you with this league is to now kind of do the lefts and rights for Watkins Glen. Do you have any thoughts? Have you been able to run any laps over there to see how you're feeling for it?
Yeah, I've ran some laps. Good win, Chad. Hopefully I see him after the race, because he'll be gone after a few laps. But I love road racing, and hopefully the updates, I don't think in the release notes they really changed anything to the cup cars. But hopefully something did change.
Yeah, so only going to be one way to find out. Say it sounds like you guys obviously put a lot of time and effort to make sure you're ready for tonight for Bristol. So wouldn't be surprised to see you guys doing the same for next week for Watkins Glen. But again, great job though, Larry. Say like I said, just circumstances didn't quite pan out for you, but still able to recover to grab that second spot. So definitely want to give you the floor though. Any thanks and shouts that you like to give?
Definitely my teammates this race: Maxwell Caldwell, Angie Pleshy, Ryan Kelly, Chad Wilkes, Brennan Pasalacqua, Nicholas Winook, and Roy Grandy. And shout out to my sponsor, Hash Brothers Performance. If you need a southwestern Virginia area and need an Ellis engine or GM performance work done, head over to Hash Brothers Performance on Facebook to see what they can do for you. Definitely need my car fixed after this race. And shout out to you guys for the broadcast as always, and looking forward to next week.
All right, great run again, Larry. Look forward to catching you next week. Enjoy as they relax a little bit. As I'm sure after Bristol, I'm sure plenty of emotions and stuff running high for a handful of these drivers. You per usual seem pretty calm, cool, and collected though. So look forward to catching you next week though.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Dale. That is our perennial podium finisher, Larry Yingling. Continuing the streak all the way back from season 7. I gotta go back and see where season 6. Oh no, season 6 he was crew chiefing. That's right. I'll have to see back when his last non-podium finish was with these guys. But before we do that, though, we got to pull up our race winner here. None of these cars were in pristine condition tonight, but So he was able to get it done when it mattered. Started from 17th, worked his way to the front, used a little bit of I want to say pit strategy, but almost a pit mistake by some of those guys around him to kind of propel him right to the front of the pack there. And then from there on, he pretty much did not look back to the end there, Kevin. I mean, take us through your race. Obviously, having to work your way through at 17th position, and then what you had to do to find your way the rest of the way to the front.
Definitely. First of all, in the wrong paint scheme. Sorry about that. we came with the wrong car this week, so meant to be in the Chevy, but ended up in the Ford. But yeah, actually, I got pretty lucky. I did not mean to pit at the beginning there. I was gonna stay out, but I was just trying to see what I could where the pit stop would be, and I was just seeing where the pit stop was gonna be, and I ended up pitting. And we actually used a quick repair too on accident, so we had a lot of problems on that first pit stop. But I mean, it worked out in the end. I'm surprised that we didn't have so much damage. I don't know if y'all were able to catch, but I accidentally got back into somebody catching up to the pace car. But yeah, it worked out at the end.
Yes, I did catch it a little bit while we were trying to see what happened in one of those incidents. But I mean, I think you can probably speak to this as well as anybody with, I mean, because again, it's like the caution was wherever it was, and just how quick everything happens here at Bristol with these 14, 15-second laps. I mean, how blind are you through the turns where you don't even know what's happening where, if not for like the drivers in the chat, or maybe if you've obviously got maybe a spotter with you in the server. I mean, just, yeah, how much do you just have to kind of, you're at the mercy of what's in front of you?
Well, I think we were coming on the backstretch, and they were still stopped in 3 and 4, and I didn't realize that. I was just trying to catch up with the pace car, and I tried my best not to damage my car and whoever I hit's car, but I ended up smacking the wall. And well, luckily it didn't cause too bad of a damage to slow me down, but you know, stuff happens.
Yeah, I think Bristol's a pretty accurate place for things happening at a track like this. So Dale and I are talking about after last week. Say maybe not 100%, but say you kind of called your shot to that you were feeling pretty good about here tonight. So obviously, I'm sure it feels good to be able to kind of be able to do exactly what you talked about. Try to run up front and have a chance at this one tonight.
Yeah, we did pretty bad in qualifying. In qualifying, I was trying to get up to speed for the first lap and then go at it in the second lap. Well, ended up hitting the wall in the second lap, so that's why we qualified so bad. And I really thought we weren't going to get up there because it was so hard to pass when we got in those long runs. And you kind of had to use the bumper a little bit, but I didn't want to do any of that to any of these guys. And it was hard. But like I said, we got lucky with that pit stop and was able to keep it up front and everything.
So I don't know if you have any additional questions on your side, Dale. So I definitely want to let you have the opportunity to quiz this man.
He answered what he was doing in qualifying, and that didn't go unnoticed. He told on himself about his car because we didn't mention that during the broadcast. So he ratted himself out there. All I want to know is what you're doing to prepare for Watkins Glen, since you weren't really very confident last week when we asked.
Oh, no. From what I'm hearing is Chad is the man to beat. And I'm just going to say good win to him because this ain't nothing going to happen to me from Watkins. I may be a top 5 car if I'm lucky, but I doubt I'll run top 5. We're really bad at road courses, but we'll definitely take a stab at it and we'll try our best.
2 wins so far this season. Definitely should put you in a good spot going into the chase. Not looking forward to next week. We go to Michigan, Texas, and then back to Sonoma. So it's not exactly an easy schedule for you and your team, I wouldn't say.
No, I mean, it's just we'll see. We'll see how things go. Like I said, we got those 2 wins, so we're sitting on a good cushion right now. But we'll try to keep it up.
Yeah, so you've definitely had another good run here tonight. Like Dale said, second win of the season, starting off definitely strong here as well. Saying obviously whenever you can finish ahead of some of these guys like Larry, Maxwell, Ryan Kelly, Brandon Pasalaco, so you're doing something right. So definitely want to give you the floor though, sir. Any thanks and shouts I'd like to give for pulling off this win this evening?
Yeah, thank you guys for putting on the show. As usual, guys at Brown Eye, Chris Caboo for painting the paint schemes as usual. And yeah, just like to thank my 2 cats too. I need to mention my cats, Aura and Paisley, the beautiful, beautiful ladies. They're sitting behind me sleeping, or there was. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, well, great job tonight, Kevin, getting the win here tonight, working your way to the front. Saying, like I said, actually the bad qualifying might work out well for you, so I believe that's going to make you the highest climber of the race, so I think you should get a bonus point on that side as well. So say the bad luck might turn into a good thing in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, that's good. I figured I wouldn't be the fastest mover, but that works.
All right, well, I'll say probably one of the few happy drivers after tonight, Dale, is our race winner in that number 93 of Kevin Brown. Say in supposedly the wrong paint scheme, but it doesn't matter which one he's in. These cars always look good.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're absolutely right there. But man, what a great race! That's really all I can say about it. Is really impressed with how everybody ran. I know there was some hiccups and all that, but I love short track racing. I had a ball.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So it was a lot of excitement tonight. Unfortunately, I said if did catch a few drivers out. A lot of the guys didn't have the nights they were looking for, but and that's. I was kind of joking around in our little Discord chat before the race with. So you got the Denny Hamlin meme of that. That's just short track racing. I mean, that's Bristol, that's Martinsville. There's going to be probably about one person that's happy after the race, and there's going to be about, in our case tonight, about 25, 27 drivers that aren't happy after the race, and that's how these things go from more often than not.
You're absolutely right.
With that, though, we got to pull up our final results. So we talked to our top three, Kevin DeBrown, Larry Yingling, Maxwell Caldwell, our top three finishers. In fourth, Brandon Passalacqua. I say, well, to double check, I think he may have been able to run a clean race tonight, which is probably very difficult to do. Probably one of the only ones to do so. If that is the case, Ryan Kelly grabs the top 5. Chad Wilk starts from the pits and still finds his way up into the 6th position, so great recovery for Chad. Robbie Richards had that pit strategy almost down to perfection. Unfortunately, to say that caution came out where it did not quite work out for him. He's going to still, though, finish in 7th position, so a great run for Robbie. Josh Schofner in 8th, Mark Brown 9th, Roy Grandy rounds out our top 10. We got 11th through 20th here. Matt Quick finishes in the 11th position, Michael Spell in 12th, Eric Schaus 13th, Andrew Pleshy 14th, Eric Laurie in 15th. And you got Charles Johnson. Skylar Brand had a really good run going, unfortunately. Like we noticed, unfortunately, that oil temperature got too hot. That popped the motor for him. James Lee there in the 54 winds up in 18th. Todd Merkel and James Ledford round out our top 20. And these guys were ready to go home right off the bat here. Say Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze. They had really good runs going. Unfortunately, just got caught up in a couple of incidents, similar for Kyle Hess, Dude Conrad. Saying these guys, you see pretty much from Dude Conrad on back, just did not have nights they're hoping to have after. You can see over 100 laps down there. With Dude Conrad, Nicholas Winnock, Paul Patterson, Jim Brooks, and Dwight Plush. All right, so we're going to go from half-mile bull ring at Bristol to Watkins Glen. So, again, going to be the same package, though, Dale. It's going to be the high horsepower, low downforce. So these drivers are going to definitely need to make sure their brakes are underneath them, because that is going to be, I think, challenge number one, is get these cars low down for those turns over in New York.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot different than anything these guys are used to racing week in, week out, obviously, and a lot different than anything I'm used to broadcasting. So everybody's going to have a little learning experience next week.
Yeah, it's going to be busy trying to keep up with everything going on. So, as always, Dale, though, really appreciate you being here with me this evening. Say it's always a blast. And these guys, as always, put on a really good show tonight as well. So, again, I want to thank you all for watching and supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. So I hope you all enjoyed the show this evening. We'll be back on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Cup Series. And, of course, happy Friday Eve. Hopefully your work weeks are all winding down. Things are going well to the weekend. And other than that, as always, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And until Sunday, have a good night.